Hey, welcome everyone. Tom here from Park Avenue Trading, your chief dealer that's here to keep you sane in insane markets, and also give you a little bit of stories, trading stories that I think that could be helpful to you in your journey through this Forex market. And welcome to Trading Chronicles number 2. Cheers. In this video, I'm going to basically go over some of my trials and tribulations, and mostly trials in the beginning of my career. Um, when I first got hired at 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭, I was the direct assistant to Aldo Pizzaferrato, the treasurer of the bank. I had come from Deutsche Bank as a junior trader, and I got hired by him to work directly with him, and as a personal assistant slash guy that executed his trading orders. And I got pretty close to Aldo. I mean, he's actually the godfather of one of my children. So we did have a good relationship as far as friendship was concerned. And the one thing that Aldo always used to say was, Tom, remember, friendship is friendship, but business is business. And if you can't perform as a trader, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to let you go no matter what. And that was a cold, hard reality to this Forex vocation. And I worked really, really hard to get to where I was at a young guy, a young man, and I really didn't want to blow it. I really didn't. I didn't graduate from any Ivy League school. My neighbor wasn't Brad upper crust. I came from a middle class family, and it was really hard to get into this business because of nepotism. A lot of people that were involved in foreign exchange trading, their dad was, or their mother, or whatever, a relative was a big investor in a bank. In other words, they had huge amounts of money in the bank. They had family relationships that were on the upper management, the upper board of management in the bank. I didn't have any of that. I had to basically work my tail off to get to where I was. I mean, I was the first guy in the morning. I was there at 5:30 in the morning. Traders had to get in at 7. I was there at 5:30 in the morning. Make sure I wrote down all the overnight rates, the money market rates, the the levels that were important, the Fed rates, the European rates, so I had to do that. I used to take care of that, and then that was had to do with the money market. It had nothing to do with Forex, but I did have to get involved with the money market. Now, like I said, Aldo was, he was a fundamentalist. He was not a technical trader. And he used to hold positions sometimes for months at a time. And the trader's job was to fund those positions. The technical trader's job was to fund those positions. Because a lot of times those positions would be out of the money, and be out of the money a lot. And I don't know, he was the treasurer of the bank, so he got to basically hold those positions that were crappy, and we had to fund them. So there was one day back in the early part of my career that I really started to think about like what I had to do in order to become really successful in this as a bank trader. And I have to tell you how naive I was. Like, I believe that once I got the job as a trader, I was done. I didn't have to do anything else. That's how naive I was. I said, oh, well, I didn't think about trading systems. I didn't think about trading philosophies. I just thought like I had great gut instinct. And using gut instinct, I could get by. I quickly found out that that was not the case. So I had to find other mentors aside from Aldo. I mean, Aldo was teaching me, but he, like I said, he really wasn't a technician. he had me reading lots of economic reports, trying to put together different pieces of a puzzle that constantly kept changing, that were confusing, that really, since it's an old piece of news, even if it was just released, it's old, and it really didn't really have an effect on the marketplace. And I realized that, or I came to believe that price actually determined the news, not the other way around, not that the news determines the price. And I think that if you as a trader, you could actually see that in the marketplace. A piece of news comes out, it could be bullish for the euro dollar, yet it has absolutely no effect. Actually, it's worse. And then you have the pundits going, well, you got to buy the rumor and sell the fact and all this other stuff. I mean, it's just 2020 hindsight. But the main point I'm trying to make was that I had to actually seek out other mentors. And the first question I asked myself, leaving CRT Bank on 59th Street and Park Avenue at the time, was, where could I go? Where could I go and hang out with traders that basically traded for themselves? The first thought to my mind came, you need to go to Chicago. You need to find pit traders, because those are the guys that trade for themselves. I heard of Charlie DeFrancesca. He was an incredible trader in Chicago exchange. If you don't know who he is, I would suggest you look him up. They call him Charlie D. He was fantastic. I mean, one man was trading sometimes larger than institutions, and unfortunately had an untimely death. I think he died of cancer, but he was a fabulous trader. And those are the people that I wanted to meet. So there was one place that was pretty close to me. It was a bar / restaurant called the Bull and the Bear, and it was on Park Avenue. It was in the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. I don't believe it's there anymore. But anyway, this is where traders that traded for themselves, generally stocks and commodities, not Forex, because us Forex guys were in banks. I didn't really know any private Forex traders. There were a couple, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was over in Connecticut, and I don't recall his name, but Connecticut was definitely too far for me to travel, and plus I didn't know him personally, so what was I supposed to do? Knock on his door and go, hey, I want to learn from you? That wasn't going to work. So I went to the Bull and the Bear, and the first thing that I did was I went up to the bartender and I said, hey, who are the guys that you know that are, personal traders? They trade for themselves. Do you know anybody like that? Because, I'm really struggling in trading, and I really want to try to learn from these guys. And the bartender said, yeah, look, the guy over in the corner over there, his name is Roger. He trades for himself. And I said, wow. I said, okay. So I had the chutzpah to go over to the guy and say, your name is Roger? And he's like, yeah. I said, my name is Tom Alongi. I'm a trader at CRT Bank in New York, Forex. And I'm really struggling with trading, and I know that you trade, for yourself, and I was wondering if you'd be willing to basically give me some pointers on trading. And he looked at me and said, this is not a 5-minute conversation, young man. I said, I'm aware of that. And he said, well, if you'd be willing to buy me Macallan Scotch, I'd be willing to start your lessons with you. And I said, okay, so I went over to the bartender. I had no idea how much Macallan Scotch cost. I didn't even know what it was. I was a beer drinker. But anyway, so I ordered this scotch. I'm like, holy smokes. I think it was at the time, think about it. This was probably 1988-ish. It was like $35 for a whiskey. And that was pretty expensive, so I went over to him. I gave him the whiskey, and the first lesson that basically we started, he asked me, he's like, why do you want to be successful in this business? I said, well, for one, I want to be able to keep my job. I work too hard, and I just don't, I just don't want to get fired and have to start this all over again. I don't think that I'll be able to get back in. It's full of nepotism. And two, I want to reach my targets, and I want to get a big bonus, and I have all these ideas, and of what I want to do. He said, that's a really shallow reply. You got a great salary for a young guy. You're gonna the sheer act of you making that money, you're gonna be able to pay your bills with it. You're gonna be able to buy the house that you want with it. But you're just gonna be able to make a living, and at the end of your life, you'll have enough money to pay off for the coffin and the tax collector for the estates. So I was thinking about that, and I have it in my journal. And what he said to me was, will you ever, just doing what you're doing, feel the thrill of making abundant profits for yourself? And I said, well, right now, no. But, how do you take into consideration all the fund managers, all those guys that, start funds, and, they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, like Paul Tudor Jones and etc. And he said, exactly. He's like, they all work for themselves to begin with, and they have other traders underneath them that are generating profits for them, and they're all getting parts of that. Because now your treasurer basically has given you a unique opportunity, to develop trading systems. You use the bank's money to trade with and develop your own trading system. So that's the first step, is you need to develop a trading system that suits you. And I asked him, I said, would you be willing to talk about the ideas of these systems with me? And he said, yeah. He goes, but the first thing, he goes, I want you to take into consideration, okay, what you've been doing. An aphorism you can use, and maybe Aldo would appreciate it as well, he said to me. He goes, the burned child fears the fire. A scorched trader never learns. He goes back to the same methods that scorched them in the first place. So the first thing you need to do is you need to learn where the fire is. What's the fire in you? What is making you repeat the same mistakes over and over again? And that was the first lesson that Roger White, an oil trader, gave me. And the question I ask you is, what's the same mistakes that you keep making over and over again that keep scorching your trading account? If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell. Also, head on over to Park Avenue Trading, get yourself a free ebook. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video of the Trading Chronicles. And remember, always, always enjoy the party. Dance near the door.